And I'm back with the stream. So, what are we gonna do today? I don't know. 5-cell mode. I had somebody talking about still getting a lot of grief these days about not killing every single enemy possible. Maybe this time I'll go for a little bit of a extinctionist run, as they call it in NetHack, wherein you try to kill every single enemy possible. I think that for, like, video-wise, never really thought that would be all that good. However, stream-wise, I'm thinking that'll be just the perfect thing. Just what I, the doc, ordered, as I like to say. Let me actually make sure my microphone is working first off, because, oh boy, I tell you. And having a little bit of trouble with the microphone. We gotta switch up my mixer at some point in time here to be better. Hey, Alex. Welcome to the stream. I was just saying, extinctionist run. I'm gonna try to kill every single enemy possible in the entire game. Not stop for anything. Anything that is possible to kill will be killed. Anything that I can't kill is, I don't know, let's just go. Also, it seemed like it might have said that I was streaming all day. I took a quick check on my phone earlier, and for some reason it looked like, I have no idea what the deal with that was. Anyway, I was not. I think I accidentally hit stream button yesterday, and YouTube did not know what was going on. So anyway. Alright, looks like it's going to be a survival run. I do think that's probably a good idea if you're going to be doing this sort of run here. Although, if I'm being honest, probably a better idea would be going for brutality. Like I said, late game, you get so much more survival if you're trying to be taking out every single enemy in the game for whatever reason you could possibly have for that. Honestly, I don't know. You definitely want to make sure that late game, the difficulty and general risk that you're going to be putting yourself in is going to be able to be undone fairly easily. Well, with relative ease. You know, in the same way that Donkey Kong can shoot you and make it such a breeze, that's what I'm planning to do here. Or at least that's what I want to do. Already home for the gym? Yeah, well, that's good at least. There's also an episode of The Witness up, but nobody cares about that. Except for maybe... No, nobody cares about that. Good stuff. Got 2 episodes left of that. Still don't know if I'm going to do all the audio logs, but I'm going to make an attempt. I've already gotten most of them. There's one near the monastery that I am having trouble finding. I have no idea where that one is. It shows up on the lake. Doesn't seem to show up in the actual game. Witness is super nice. I mean, it is a great game. I feel like I do not do justice to it, though. But hey, what do you want here? I would, but Marty's in The Witness. Oh, what do you mean? I can get him on here right now just to spite you. Just to spite you. All right, what do we got here? I'm looking for any sort of survival-based bomb. I'm talking specifically about the... I guess, you know, I could go for Swarm if I really felt like it. Heavy Grenade is going to be much better if you're going to ask me. Because I do think that that's going to be just, all in all, the sort of heavy-hitting, pun absolutely intended, part of the run here that will also be used, you know, instantly and at big range. Look, heavy crossbow is nice, even though Leo Nickel, oh, this isn't going to be a heavy crossbow run or whatever. I hate that thing. It's probably not, but for the time being, it was the first item I picked up here. I mean, I just need something that works fast. Something that works fast, something that works hard. Because I'm going for all enemies killed right now. Let's go Promenade. Sure. Meat Skewer run? Nah, I've already made my choice. We're looking at a survival-based run, at least for the time being right now. Hey, Doc, just got 4 boss cells after many hours and 3 boss cell, and tips on how to manage melees and all that. Well, there's a couple things. I mean, back in the day, it used to be that you'd want to just take the heart every single time, because that, could be dropped, and by dropped, I mean it would just go away. But it does cure all of your melees once, which is pretty nice, and something that I'm going to use right now, since I'm using little bit of survival action. Necromancy is great for getting rid of malaise. Extended healing seems like it should be, but it's too erratic. Occasionally heal some infection is not... It needs to be constantly healed. Obviously, anytime your route takes you through a shop, you should kind of prioritize going in there for malaise reduction. I mean, ranged weapons are good for making sure that you're not in the death zone where you're going to be getting hit by melee characters. Tainted Flask in late game. It's good. It's exactly what you're looking for when it comes to healing malaise, especially on 5-cell runs. When I was new to the game, I used to clean out every single biome. No wonder I died a lot. I mean, it's not like it's entirely worthless, you know, being able to learn how to deal with a ton of different enemies and figure out their patterns and everything like that. You know, in general, just rushing forward isn't a very good idea if you don't know kind of how the enemies usually work. Okay. However, I do think that there is a certain... I mean, look, the gameplay is great. Dead Cells is a game that functions real nice. Smooth. Accurate. And obviously very quick. However, I don't think that means that you need to fight every single enemy possible. I don't think that means that that you have to use the combat system at all points in time. Discretion is the better form. Valor, whatever it's called. I don't know. Nice to be here for a stream once. Been missing a lot of those, and just as I say that, my internet starts acting up. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. What is your favorite outfit? Festive outfit. No question. It's always the festive outfit. It's so good. Every single way. I'd like to get a shovel if I could, but don't really have the money, cash money for that right now. Gonna be hauling around this map for a while. Maybe I'll use it in the depths. Ever get sick of the ledge assist mechanic? It is something that even in that last run that I did with the what was it? The electric whip, that did kill me. Like straight up. Not terrible, but I think I'd rather go for you if I'm gonna pick anything. It did kill me because what I did was I was cursed and then I had bet and right into a spike ball. And I had a pretty good run going. Had more than a few curse chests from going into the sewers a couple times. Had a I want to say, I think it was only one, but it was still a bonus area to go through, which is always really nice to see. And then I just died due to ledge grabbing accidentally. So yeah, it's maybe occasionally get a little sick of it. Yes. Good. And I do think you got legendary item, judging by that star above your head. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, all right. Let's go. I like the look of that a lot. And yeah, let's get the damage reduction just to make sure. Some primal need to kill everything on every single level. I mean, at least you don't have primal rage to kill every single thing. Because otherwise you would be like, turn into a bug man. Do I remember? Was primal rage the one where you turned into animals? Because I don't remember. Ooh. Yes. All right, sounds good, sounds good. This is going to be an interesting combo of weapons, but I do think it's going to be one that works out. You know, pierces enemies, does a little bit of damage over time. It's everything I'm looking for when it comes to extinctionist type of runs, as I called it. That's what it was in NetHack. Once you kill 128 of a single enemy, they are gone from the game forever. Because I guess they're stored in the amount of enemies you've killed stored in 8 bits. It was a run that I attempted one time, game glitched out on me, was never able to complete it. And I had, like, a wizard that was basically impossible to kill at that point in time, too. I was reverse genociding wraiths to get levels at that point. That's the sort of level that I was working with. I had a ring of polymorph. I was transforming into jellies to be able to eat rings of plus damage so that I could have permanent increases. And the game killed me because it thought I cheated, because it thought I was using a hex editor. Something that to this day, I still have not quite let go of. And I want to say that you can't blame me for that sort of thing. It was there. I had it. The magic was going to occur. My grind was infinite. My power could not be stopped. Isn't it called the genocide path? No, no, no. That's like freaking extinctionist is the proper name. Back in NetHack days, they were called conducts. You could do stuff like illiterate, never read a scroll, never read a book. Atheistic, if you wanted to go for never praying to your god. Actually, probably one of the easier ones to do. Stuff like vegetarian, if you never ate meat of any creatures. A lot of different conducts. A lot of fun stuff there. But extinctionist was the one I wanted to go for. I'm a big fan of grinding. You know, I love my grind. And that was the perfect one to do, and I had the perfect setup for it before the game so cruelly stole it away from me. Anyway, that should prevent anybody from ever watching these videos again. That whole weird tirade. Primal Rage is the fighting game with dinosaurs and fatality. Okay, so I wasn't correct then. I said Primal Fury. Yeah, that's not the same thing. It's Inferno Firebird, PhD. Well, actually, I am a doctor only in the sense that I play one on television, much like a Dr. Phil. Careful, that's how Zomla went bad. Well, Zomla can get killed by thinking that I hex edited the game then. I mean, also, he didn't get killed, he got sealed. Oh, went bad. No, I'm reading things incorrectly because I'm still just... The rage from losing that run still is fresh in my mind now. Oh, God. This is close. Oh, I can't believe I didn't get hit there. I'm kind of surprised, actually. Gotta be using my swarm a little bit more often. These guys do teleport to you and everything right now, so it's actually kind of worthwhile to be throwing these things down as constantly as possible. Low cooldown. They'll track on you pretty well. A lot of good stuff occurring there, and I'm just squandering it. I feel like everything in Zomlipnir, some kind of bad pun I'm missing because I feel like everything in that game was bad pun. It probably is, but it's not one that I'm familiar with. It's like Adom, where no, that's not worth it. Maybe it's like Adom, where the big bad guy, Andor Dracone, was apparently named after one of the creators, like bad guys, was like an evil priest or something in a D&D game he played. Then he became the god of chaos in that game. Good stuff. I, of course, killed him in that game. Got a ultra-neutral ending path. Since we're just talking... Wow, those poor biters. But since I got a ultra ending, ultra-neutral ending, was not going to go for the ultra-chaos ending. That one is a great ending, but it's also, like, the hardest one you can do in that game. What am I even talking about? Now I'm just reminiscing about... Oh, let's restart this run here. Everybody ignore the first part. Oh. You know what? I'll cut that out for the post. Okay, everything from the start to right now I'm gonna cut out from the VOD for this. Because that was way too much roguelike talk. Anyway, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, we're doing extinctionist runs today. I've been given a lot of grief about not killing every single enemy in the game, and I'm going to change that. For better or for worse. Probably for worse. I don't really think these runs are very fun. I think they take a long time, and they're not very interesting. However, since I have had more than a few asks for it, let's check it out anyway. And alright. I don't know if I'm going to be going survival. In the failed run that I had at the start here, didn't really feel like that was going too well. Brutality is the way to go when you're going to do this thing. Because after all, late game, it's going to get so much more important to get a lot of survival here. And then... Hey, you were asking for grappling hook runs? Well, here we go. For now. It's going to be switched over to brutality soon enough. I mean, I know y'all want to see this. And to be fair, I do think that there's some good synergy with Nutcracker. But it's getting switched over to brutality ASAP. Ah, hate that thing. And 2, 1, except no. Look, as soon as I get Tainted Flask, it's going to be so much more pleasant in every single way. You won't even believe it. What's your least used items? Grappling hook. Unfortunately, the KD ratio is getting a little bit twisted now thanks to this one. I hate this weapon. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I'm gonna tough this one out. I can't just restart runs over and over here, unless I was going to be doing this on my own and not on stream. There. Man. Are you kidding me? How did I not get it? Whatever. Malaise, you can only take a certain amount of hits. Your HP will drop super fast and basically game over. I mean, it only drops down to 10% of your maximum HP, which is much, much nicer than basically instantly killing you. Well, instantly on a geological scale. Maybe not like literally instantly. Of course. Well, I think that this is going to be a point in time. And, you know, working with survival-based... Oh, I didn't even notice that enemy down there. Would have ruined my Extinctionist run. Otherwise, cool. This is also just a terrible enemy to fight for this whole conduct that I'm trying to go for as well. We're going to be using Tainted Flask early and often, as I've said before, as I'm going to... I hate... Life is pain. I hate. Also you, since you're down here. What is your day job? Technical? I am a file clerk at a law firm. Simple as that. I'm just going to switch this out right now. Nutcracker, he's slowly going down the list of very good items that I love to use. Oh, okay. Well, I think damage over time is actually a good run to go for, because really the ability to hit enemies and then run away and know that they'll be killed even without your interaction with them is going to be useful over time. More and more useful with every passing second. I'm glad that they didn't hit me there and just my biters. Oh, this is just going to be a nightmare, isn't it? But hey, that's streams for you. If I wanted to do a real episode, I would have loaded up the Valmont's Whip only one, which, by the way, is probably going to be the next proper episode and not stream. People were telling me, you know, it's like it's one of their favorite weapons in the game, and I want to, I'm not gonna take this. I've been working with survival too much, and it's done nothing but grief for me. Anyway, yeah, people were telling me how much I liked Valmont's Whip. I gotta do a relook. Recheck it out. See if I have been unfairly maligning it. And that it's actually a really great weapon. I don't know, we'll see. In the meantime, like I said, it's gonna all be about killing every single enemy that you possibly can. Okay, yeah. See, I told you, damage over time. It's got some real good use cases here, which is why it's one of my favorite builds in the game. Also, you know, the synergies that you can get with it. All right. Even the game can't decide what path to go with 555. I mean... Look, I'm trying to push it in a direction, but sometimes, especially early game, unless you're going for, really, if I'm being honest, tactics. Tactics is the one where even early game you can really stack it up into, come on, I'll take it, but this is still, what is with all these survival weapons? There, that'll work. The Fool's build. Not anymore. Mostly. Somewhat. I'm forgetting what I have mapped to what button. This is going to be a rough playthrough, isn't it? Try Magic Missile, Parry Shield. Can't read that right now. Magic Missile, Parry Shield, Wave of Denial. Lacerating Aura. Does Parry Shield scale with, Oh, good. This is not very good. Actually, that's pretty good. Sure. But, forgetting your buttons? No, I'm forgetting what weapons are mapped to what places, because I just switched out Firebrands for being in the second slot instead of the first one. I like having my utilities in the second slot, you know? What goes good with Magic Missile? I mean, just about anything. It's just a very fast attacking basic weapon. It doesn't really have any special criticals or conditions that it works best under. You can pretty much do whatever with it. It's a very bread and butter type of weapon, I'd like to say. Whip me harder, Daddy. Of course. Come over here, son, and I will whip you so hard you won't even know what. What do you think about a magnetic grenade themed run? Can it be used effectively? It has been changed up to be better. I don't know if it can be used effectively. It does such little damage, and it makes it weird to... Makes it weird to use it in a lot of ways. So, I don't know. What do I even want? I have no idea, really. This is, well, just a nightmare, being honest. Combo could be okay. Let's just go with, God, I really do not know what I want to take here. Acceptance. You know what? Let's just make sure that I'm not going to be getting killed by curses right now. Why not? Such a colorful loadout, I know. It's harsh, but I'm going to make this run work. It's off to a bad start. But there's plenty more run to be had here, certainly. And I do think that, especially with something like the Boy's Axe, one of my favorite weapons of the recent updates, there's good potential for this run to be turned around, and, you know, I'm going to be killing every single enemy. That's going to be not much more of a chance at getting more weaponry. Cool. Not much more of a chance of getting good weaponry, but it's going to be enough of a chance of getting good weaponry. Well, sure. It's just the game has not been very kind. It's really been trying to push me into a survival-based run right now, and I just don't have the wherewithal to be able to do that right now, especially if I'm going to be trying to kill every single enemy in the game possible. The loadout isn't working in my favor. All right. Well, at least with the... I don't know. This might require a second run, but I'm gonna tough it out. I told you. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it its due diligence. I'm gonna try everything that I possibly can to make this work, regardless of what's happening right now. All right. Second, how do we donate to you? Oh, yeah, I guess I don't really have a donation button or anything like that. I don't know. See, again, the game is really trying to push me into working with a survival run. I don't know why. It could just be that this one is lost. I guess Meat Skewer would be the only one here that would be really worth taking, and I do not have the money for it. Embrace the survival? We really don't have... I mean, I've been working towards brutality this entire time. I really don't have the stats for it. It's so hard in one direction that, every time, I tell you. There we go. That's better, though. So hard in one direction. Somebody has to name a One Direction song for me because I don't know any. Oh, this is gonna suck. I'll try it anyway. Hey, as far as like a damage over time run goes, having Grinder comboed with nope, this is bad. Take me down to a Paradise City. Just do it right now and we'll try this one again here. Yeah, I'm a One Direction fan. I can't even name a single song by them. Woof, that one was just terrible. I'm not taking the second area, and I would have already taken 3 potion charges. No. Let's do it here. No. I'm still doing brutality. Let's just switch out you for right now, since I did have a request for some magical missile action. Sure, I can probably do some stuff with this here. Perhaps. We'll see. Paradise City is my favorite One Direction song. Yeah, I bet it is. Why are you lying to me? Come on, they had that, God, they were so huge for so long. I should be able to name at least one song. Baby was the Justin Bieber one, right? I remember that was pretty popular at that... Was at that time? I don't know. I just want to cast Magic Missile at the darkness. Okay. Getting drunk in the bar, etc. Just name the entire Dead Alewife sketch here, I guess. Is Back in Black. Oh, yeah, I remember when, No, now I'm thinking of the Jonas Brothers. I was going to make a reference to that. Not... Oh, no, I'm so out of touch from all popular music, even ones that were only popular, like, 5 years ago. Somebody help me, save me from this nothing I've become, which is definitely not a modern pop song. Yeah, give it to me. Doctor Dead Alewives references. I mean, that's the only one I know, to be fair. Which I'd like to say is the only one that most people know. It's a very famous sketch. That's not the point either. Also, PYT. Oh, yeah. I remember PYT. The old One Direction song. Double boots. Yep, I'm really gonna... I might as well kick it. There we go. Also, not a modern reference song. Very old. Okay. What's the plan for this run? I guess we're gonna kick it to him. Which is kind of like saying stick it to him. Except, not. I don't know, actually. The run's... You know what? Okay. Everybody chill for 1 second here. Fantasy's about to die. Yes. Okay, so we're going to start this one for real now. Everybody on the same page here? Right. Okay? All right. So, it's going to be an Extinctionist run. I'm going to take whatever the weapons are immediately here. These are some pretty good weapons, by the way. And we're going to go kill everything. I need to take my rage out on someone or something at this point in time. And this appears to be a pretty opportune time to do that. Especially considering that I'm getting quite a bit more survival weapons, eh? Cool and nice. I'm very happy about all of this. So popular with the dislikes. Oh, what, people really disliking this video? Understandable. However, if they can't handle me at my worst, obey your thirst, is what I say. There we go. That was just a Germa quote, I'm sorry. Anyway. This is a much better start here. So, we got something that's giving me a lot of poison, something that's going to give me a lot of advantages against the boss if I decide to take it here. But, more importantly than anything else, it's just a decent, fast weapon. Double boots all the way. Yeah, I mean, as much as I'd like to, boy, that run was going nowhere. However, right now, with like this, especially with this, which I can't even tell you how happy I am with this run right now. Like, it's crazy. Okay, come on. Yeah, this is not happening. But, hey, I did it. Play some Skinnerd. I thought you were going to say Skyward Sword for a second there. Also, yes, of course, I have, 7 bits of survival at the very start here. This is why you don't attack every single enemy in the game, by the way. There we go. And it's really just not my day now, is it? There we go. Now, continuing on. Wait. I think I finally do have the Rampager's proper parry timing down and everything like that, so it's a little bit more possible to take those guys down compared to a usual type of experience that I've had with these guys up until this point. No. What do we got? I was kind of hoping for another boot, if I'm being honest, but for right now, I'll just take whatever I'm going to get here. Okay. Still got to do every single... enemy in this area, though, first. So I can't quite leave just yet. And actually, punishment is going to be a lot better than a knockback shield, just in general. As you can see right now. Especially if I'm going to be having this many points of survival at the very start. Very nice. And we're already starting to look better. Slowly but surely. All it took was just a couple tries here, and now we're looking very nice. What runs am I doing today? We're looking at Extinctionist. I'm going to be trying to go for every single... I'm going to be trying to kill every single enemy in the game. However, until this point, I've been cursed with myriad survival runs and nary a brutality run possible, which is what I was looking for at the start here. So, we'll see exactly how that goes over time. Great! I love it. I love it. Wear mismatched boots? I mean, hey, that would probably be better than the same boot, because at least you could get utility out of both of them, rather than just you know, relying on a single version of one, than having that second one be there just for the stats alone. Killing 100, it's 128. 2 to the 8th power, of course. Stored in 8-bit notation. As you do. All right. Come on, what do we got here? What do we got? I mean, really, a little bit of fire damage is going to be decent for that damage over time that I was talking about before. Also, just getting a whole ton of stats is great. Still not doing super good on the health, but at the same time, that's not really something that I'm as concerned about, because I'll eventually get Tainted Flask going forward here. Then from that point, it's going to be all about... And from that point, it's pretty much going to be all about just killing enemies as quickly as possible or with as little effort as possible. If I can get stuff like a colorless turret, if I can get stuff like, you know, Hokuto's bow, alchemic carbine, that's what the ideal circumstance would be here. Is there any other enemy that I missed here? Because it's kind of weird. I didn't really think there would have been another one around here. The worry is that I'm going to be leaving some dudes behind. But shouldn't happen as long as I'm kind of diligent about what I'm doing here. Until that point, until the point where, you know, I can kill enemies really quickly and, you know, move around very fast. How can you tell if you get everyone? You can't. The game does not record, like, if you fully cleared out an area. As much as I would prefer if it did. I'm bored, Doc? Yeah. Yeah. Really rubbing the survival in his face. I know, right? Oh, all right. That's pretty much as good as I'm going to be able to do for the first area here. So, let's see what we got here continuing up. About 80 to 90 if you get that many people in a bar every week, you make a nice penny. I mean, yeah, but I'm not trying to shove people in a bar. That's just dishonest, if you ask me. You know what? Sure. Necromancy is not like the best, but it is going to keep me alive enough. It's going to be good enough. Yeah, it would be cool if there was a reward for killing all the enemies on the level. I mean, I think that if they could replace the time door with, instead of like an enemy kill door or, you know, something like that, it's either it's timed, you have to get there in X amount of time, or you have to kill every enemy on the level. Something like that. Just something, though, so that there's a little bit more reward for somebody that wants to go slow, that wants to go meander around and everything like that. I mean, one of the big ways, one of the big advantages that you get in this game is by hitting up all the time doors. I mean, those are much better items compared to what you're going to get for a pretty long time in the game. I mean, they are very above average weapons. For example, they would be ones that I was getting in the, not even ossuary, but like the slumbering sanctuary or whatever. It's like those are the weapons that I would get in the first door. The door right immediately after the prisoner's cells. And that's like really good and really important for having a good run, especially on higher cell difficulties, which is why I think it's so frustrating that it can be so razor tight to actually get that stuff. I don't know. All right, Hayabusa gauntlets today works awesome, especially with wounds and plus 6% on bleeding. I mean, they're pretty decent weapons. They attack fast. If you have something like causes enemies to get poisoned or something like that, there's a lot of good stuff going on with it. However, yes. However, I mean, I don't know. It's just the critical's kind of funky to work with. It's very short range, which is why I kind of prefer a lot of other weapons. Like, the gimmick is simple, and it requires you to make it work in a very specific way, which is why I don't really use those too often. Also, in the past, they tend not to be very good weapons, and I feel like, along with Valmont's whip, it's the sins of the father that really colors my perception of weapons to this day. Something that I should really be aware of and take efforts to fix. I can. And that's why I want to do a Valmont's whip for, like, the next episode here. So much uninfected food? Yeah, I know, right? I'm happy about that, because I was not playing very well at the start. So kind of, speaking of the sins of the father, making up for that here. All right. Wow, that is a lot of enemies to kill. But it's worth every penny, let me tell you. When you see the smile on those enemies' faces when you send them into oblivion, you know you made the right choice. Okay, fine. Oh, is it a rainbow build? I'm not trying to. It's just the game has been, let's call it not so charitable with some of the builds that it's been giving me as of recent. So it's more of an issue of circumstance rather than one of my own making. Okay. All right, that's... I hate it! No! The bad. This is the bad thing. Oh, I've only obeyed my thirst. Okay, well, this isn't actually too bad now that because I have the Giant Killer. Wow! Good stuff. Praise the box, fear the box, embrace the box. Be the box. Enter the box, and the box has become you as well. I mean, I kind of want to, but that's not. Clean, I mean, clean enough. I want to say that was like I barely managed it sort of thing. Oh yeah, I guess like also shops have the equivalent of stuff that you'd be getting in the doors as well, but you had to pay a lot for them. I don't know. Should I go for the Hayabusa gauntlets? What do you think? Is beating 4-cell easier with a shield or Boy's Axe and Heavy Turret? I would say Boy's Axe and Infantry Grenade because you get so much more health. But, whatever works, really. I mean, if you want to risk the lack of survivability that taking tactics affords you, then it's like you do get a lot more damage from that. It's just, for me, I can't deal with that. I need some way to heal. One way or another, And then you just don't get that with survival. Heavy turrets are really good, though. Heavy turrets are so good. The buff, the stun time, the damage, it's all fantastic. But it's not worth it. It's not worth the... Please tell me I got 60 there. Please tell me I hit 60 before that. Embarrassing. I feel like I might not have. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. 58. Ah, damn it. Well, ain't that just a kick in the... what buff does the Heavy Turret provide? 15% damage increase when you're standing near it to your main hand. It's really good. And I think that does... Ooh, nice. And I think that does stack if you have multiple of them near you. So that's a grand total of 30% extra damage if you're standing near two of them. That's great. That is a 100% worthwhile take, in my opinion. It's one of the many things that makes it the best turret in the game. It does great damage. It does stun. It stuns enemies for only a brief second, but that's all it takes to make them stop attacking. And of course, the buff. They have nerfed it. It doesn't do as much damage. But in recent times, I have been using it, and it has been as good as ever, if you're asking me. So I still think it's worth taking. And I do think that as much as I do like infantry grenades, especially if you can get some good synergies on them, you can attack fast, you can kill groups of enemies with that and everything. It's like they just don't hold a candle in the same way to a heavy turret. It's just that good. That was close. Anyway, best turret is Snot turret. The Barnacle, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's invincible. It lasts forever. It can, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff with it, but at the same time, I don't know. The heavy turret has so much utility. It's great. I mean, it's more than just damage. It's also a buff. You can't beat that. Just try to beat it. You can't. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, I told you. All it took was a little... I mean, it's still not going perfect, but all it took was a little bit of finessing a good run here. And we're good. Why do I never enter the one boss cell door? I mean, pretty much the only thing that's in there is a shop, and I don't know if I'm really looking for... Whatever that shop's going to afford me is probably not going to be worth it. basically. I probably should, and actually I need to. I need to, because there might be enemies in there. So, Extinctionist Run, of course. Thanks for reminding me, Leo Nickel. I would have forgotten about that because I usually don't think that checking out a shop is worthwhile, but I might need to go in here. And in fact, I did. So, good call. Okay. There we go. Does gastronomy give you the buff on recycling food when you have dead inside? I mean, it should. I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't, because all it's based on is recycling. Gastronomy is also a buff that I usually don't use that too often. Like, healing is taken care of very well with... Healing's taken care of very well with a, necromancy. There. So, worrying about that with gastronomy is not really that big of a deal. And by the time I get to endgame, I tend to have a very good... Nah. By the time I get to endgame, I tend to have very good damage, so it's not really something that worries me too much. Also, it's so erratic if you're going to find food or not. You never know what the RNG is going to bless you with, or curse you with, as the case might be with these runs. So, I just don't think it's all that worth it. With the latest patch, what's that do you like more? It's still Brutality. Brutality is still... I mean, for a while there, Brutality was the odd... like stat out, and now I've just turned around on it completely with the ability to get flask charges. Flask charges are so valuable. They are crazy valuable late game. You can, I mean, it's something that will single-handedly carry you through the game, even if you have mediocre weapons. Even if you're not playing particularly well, you'll still get carried through the game by Tainted Flask, as long as you get to that point. Hey, Enchanted Cow. Doing, okay. Some of these runs have been, let's say, spotty. But I'm getting there. I'm making it work. It's taking some time. It's taking a little bit of elbow grease. But, you know, nothing worth doing is easy, after all. I think I actually got that quote right this time, after trying to remember it for, like, 50 days in a row. There we go. And didn't actually hit the dude. Okay. And there we go. See, that's what having a fire grenade is actually worthwhile for. It makes... No. That's interesting, but it's just off-stat. The off-statedness is, yeah. The lack of final? Oh, no, that's not the final. We still got, Secret Puzzles Part 2 to do. As well as the, I'm gonna call them the maintenance tunnels. Let's just say that. There's quite a few extra things to do. Although I have finished all of the main part of the game. Main game finished. That game has so many secrets, I'm sure, as you probably realize at this point. Jonathan Blow loves shoving them in. Huh, Electric Whip. Sure. You know what? I'll go for it. I'll give her an attempt here. All right. When I said 100% of that game, I was not kidding. I really want to do everything in the Witness, and I am extremely close even in my own save file to doing that. I got all the secret puzzles. I'm just looking for the rest of the audio logs, and I only have like 3 left. Too bad Tactics doesn't have much for interesting or useful mutations. I mean, they used to be the best because stuff like support was incredibly good. You were able to just get constant damage ups back when it didn't really matter about survivability as much. Like, that was great. And now, how the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have, well, maybe not fallen, but just become obsolete. Power creep came in and kind of stole its lunch, basically. Gimme. Tactics does have best damage. It does, unquestionably. But it doesn't have the best survivability, and damage is only going to take you so far, you know? However, again, if you play the game well enough, then what does it matter? I mean, just don't get hit forehead. First time I beat Hand of the King is with what it was with Tactics. I mean, yeah, Tactics also had like some really good stuff happening back in the day, like with Death Orb. Man, that was just hideously overpowered against the dude. How can you play the game as well as reading comments and talking at the same time? I mean, it's basically like what you do is I queue up the next couple actions in my head, and then I glance over at the comments, and then basically I take the time that I'm answering to continue playing the game until I can queue up some actions. For example, running forward, opening the chest, selling the item inside it, and, you know, like reading how about Pikachu is saying malaise isn't looking good. You just gotta rapidly switch back and forth, basically, is what I'm saying. Enemies can't hurt you if you're dead. I mean, I did say that the best crowd control is killing an enemy. Where is... What am I missing here? Because I don't see an entrance to the prison depths. No, wait. Right there. I thought there was supposed to be like another shop. That's what I'm looking for. Or a chest? Or something. I don't know. Anyway. High-functioning big brain boy. And, of course, the second you say that, I completely start, like, getting confused. And loggy. And not really knowing what's happening. Anyway, let's just continue on up here. Make sure I can find everything possible. Good. Do I talk like this in daily life? Absolutely not. I don't talk at all in daily life. I'm a quiet, reserved person. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, look, I showed my mom one of these videos one time, and she's like, "Oh, wow, I've never heard you talk like that before." And I'm like, "Really? You've known me literally your entire life. My entire life." I mean, like, how do you not know that I talk like this? All right. I didn't really want to get rid of the poisons, but screw it. I need like brutality. And also I'm going to be switching this out in about 5 seconds. Let's take acceptance. Acceptance, no question, is going to be extremely useful to not die. Daily life is a lie. Yes, the only truth is the internet. Virtual reality. You think I want to be 3D pig disgusting? No, I want to be merely a voice that exists on the internet. Serial Experiments Lane style. And who knows? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just trying to pass the Turing test here. You don't know. No, you know I'm a real person. Dang. I revealed too much about myself over time. I missed like 2 minutes of the stream and missed out on Doc's semi-ranting. Oh, there's so many rants that you missed with the whole, like, God, there's so much dumb nonsense that has happened in the stream so far. It's kind of crazy that I managed to pack it all in there. What do we got? Does the stats on the offhand, like critical plus 20% stack? No, it only affects the weapon that it's on. Unfortunately, yeah, like stuff like 100% on poison target on the electric whip is not going to be affecting the giant killer. That would be way too powerful. However, I do think stuff like plus 100% damage taken, if you have that from multiple sources, that does stack. Somebody can correct me on that if they want, because I really don't know. I tend not to take items that have plus 100% damage taken on it, period. So it could be one way or t'other, no matter how you look at it. I'm just gonna take this. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. Or you're just trying to convince us that you're a real person. I mean, that's, you know, that's one of those things about passing the Turing test. Turing test doesn't really have any hard and fast rules. So if you act like a person who's very emotional, I mean, if an AI was to act like a person that was very emotional, then they would, be more easily convinced. By the way, the Turing test is just a conceivable type of thing. It doesn't actually exist in real life. Fiction will try to convince you that the Turing test is like some sort of rigorous testing. It's not. Mylar Pants on Fire. I've seen you take such items on several streams. Well, there is a certain amount of... I mean, not enough to... Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't take them enough to notice this sort of stuff if it does exist like that. Take 2 times damage, we take every single curse chest. Hey, if I took 2 times damage and that 2 times damage was giving me extra stats each time, absolutely I would. If it was 2 times stats on top of 2 times damage, also it's a temporary thing versus a permanent thing with 100% damage taken and given. So I would like to say that my justified. I'm justified, not my gra is justified. That makes no sense. That was me just reacting emotionally to try to convince you that I'm not an AI. Okay. Actually working pretty well right now. And nice try, Thorny, but you're gonna have to wake up earlier than that if you want to get me. Actually going surprisingly well now. I mean, I think that Extinctionist runs and, well, runs in general work better when you actually start to have a build that works for you. Hey, crush an enemy with elevators? It's so satisfying. I mean, every opportunity that I have to do that, I will. Pretty much. It is a good feeling. And come on, Extinctionist. And normally what I would do is I would just run past all these fools, but unfortunately not as possible this time. Not with how this works. Got to be vigilant, always on guard, always ready to yap a few enemies. Oh, phaser. Yeah, give me phaser. I don't really need... Cluster grenade did give me inflammable oil, but that wasn't consistent enough to be good. Well, you try blasphemous when it comes out. And what is EITR? I'm not actually familiar with that. Okay, there we go. EITR. Whoa, that was close. That's 30 kills then, too. Good. Only so much longer, and I should be able to... I mean, especially if I get, like, a faster weapon? Well, especially if I get, like, a faster weapon, I should be able to, like, start killing things before they're even able to do anything. Let's be a little bit careful up here. And do this. Cool. EITR is an asymmetrical pixel art game that's coming out this summer. You should have a look at the gameplay. Yeah, I'm not actually familiar with that at all. I haven't really heard anything about it. Of course, I'm also not really somebody that is on the forefront of like new releases. I probably should be if I want to be looking for some of that stuff. But I'm also lazy when it comes to that in particular. Wow, that was a good dodge. When it comes to that in particular. Ever played Enter the Gungeon? I have 100%ed Enter the Gungeon, or at least before the Farewell to Arms update came out. I had everything 100%ed. Fucking beating up the Advanced Dragon. Rat, getting all the items. No, I'm well versed in the Gungeon. I have entered it many a time and come out successful not nearly as many. Isaac, I have 100%ed Isaac. I have a 1,000,000% save file. I guess whenever, what is it called? Repentance comes out, I'll probably check that out, maybe even do like a video or something for it, but that's gonna be a time. Blasphemous, I don't really remember. I heard about that game, but I've already forgotten everything that I ever learned. Okay, 55. I can actually get the 60 kills here, which will be quite nice. There we go. Does a weapon have bleeding 60%, poison 100%, do 160% on poison and bleeding targets? Yes. That is why you want to kind of mix and match stuff as much as you can. That's why I always say to try to go for a... All right. Should be okay here as long as I'm careful. I always say that you want to have a cosmopolitan sources of damage because you want to be able to take advantage of out of every single one of those synergies that you possibly can. They nerfed Necromancy apparently. Oh boy, have they. They've nerfed it a lot in the past couple patches. It's not nearly the powerhouse as it once was, but it's still going to be saving me a lot of melees over time, as well as obviously just making sure that I'm constantly capped off on healing. I mean, just the peace of mind knowing that you're at max health is worth the mutation slot. Give me something good. No. Maybe like an oil grenade at this point would be good. Speaking of Isaac, this game... almost got me. There we go. Speaking of Isaac, this game called Never Split the Party, which is basically play Isaac with your friends. It's actually pretty neat. Huh, interesting. I mean, is it a twin-stick shooter, or is it more just the, like, item collection, you know, the classic roguelites type of structure that makes it more like Isaac? Or even, I don't know, the like, theming? Because that would be weird. Isaac has a very specific sort of theme that I don't really think that anybody's trying to copy. At least as far as I know. Both. Huh. Interesting. Don't split the party. Does it have to be played multiplayer? Because, as you know, don't really like multiplayer games all that much. Okay. You know, for being an Extinctionist run, this is actually going pretty well. Just took a little bit of work to get there. Speaking of party games, super dope. Crawl is a super dope local multiplayer dungeon crawler. Well, there's only one person that I really could play a dungeon crawler with, and let's just say that they're... oh boy. Not very good at video games. You want to know by sometimes a spinner will spin and chase you off a ledge, and sometimes they don't? Hey, if you could tell me, I'd like to know, because that has killed me or gotten close to killing me several times at this point. Nah, I don't know. It's one that, ooh, please. Wouldn't ask for anything more. Now, hopefully I have enough enemies still left to kill in this part of reality to, you know, actually get rid of my curses. Right. Okay. Ooh, a little bit worrying there for a second, but made out like a bandit. And there we go. Bunny Must Die? Oh, man. Yes, I played Bunny Must Die. I never beat it. I think was there a late game character that was like a pumpkin girl? That's basically where I stopped, I think. I don't know. It's been a while, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Bunny Must Die, a very goofy Metroid game. And it's very shameless about its Metroid inspiration. That's also maybe partially TNA. Anyway, I didn't say anything, though. Oh, so close. And... No. Not today. Not this one. Not today. No, Doc, why? You know why. I've abused it too much in my life. I need not prove anything else. No, wait, I need to prove that I don't need it to beat a run is what I meant. So, basically the complete opposite of what I just said. Was it invisible? Yes. You know it was. I mean, I don't have that reaction to just about anything else in the game, really. You don't even need to be watching this to know what exactly came up there, basically. Speaking of Metroidvanias and co-op roguelites, Robot Named Fight just added 4-player co-op in the newest update. Really? Robot Named Fight I thought looked kind of interesting, but it was also, I don't know, it seemed like there wasn't enough change-ups. I'm gonna take this. It seems like there wasn't enough change-ups to really be interesting to me. I don't know. Barely even use invisible because you forget when you have it. Yes, that is true. No, there's no other, there's nothing else to say about that. It's true. I usually forget when I have it. All right. Oh, can't quite get there. But I can quite get here. That should probably take care of most of the enemies down there, if I'm not mistaken. And there. Okay, what about your rule about taking cursed chests only when you're about to leave the area? No, I was just talking about that when I'm in the Fog Fjord specifically. Also, taking it before I'm leaving the area, that would lead me directly into the boss being cursed. I'm not that much of a risk taker. No. The Sepulchre is much easier to deal with enemies compared to the Fog Fjord, which is why I should be doing that. Which is why I said that at that point in time. Do it for a whole run. No! We got a specific run. Come back next time I'm doing a viewer-suggested run. And we'll do that one, I guess. It's probably gonna come up eventually. Those are fun runs. I mean, they're just complete garbage nonsense runs because of the constraints you people put me under, but they are fun. Okay. Probably actually want to kind of watch out here. Be a little bit careful because I don't like how that shocker's looking at me. And that shocker really can't do much else other than look at me. Ooh, would you be worth it? Yes. You know, asked and answered. I like oil. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I'm a real masochist. Anyway, actually go into the thing. Vermintide, very much like Left 4 Dead 2 with melee being the primary focus because instead of guns they're... Pick it up. Why are you not picking it up? Limited by ammo. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's supposed to be like a Warcraft type of thing, so you're more working with like a type of swords and sorcery rather than guns and guns. Okay, there we go. And right into it, eh? Hey, Luigi. And of course, I otherwise get out of there completely unscathed. Well, unscathed, considering we're talking about Vermintide. Very nice. All right, yeah, this is going much better now. It took some time, but I'm finally feeling a little bit confident in how this run is going. Which, that's how you know that I kind of ran out of stuff to talk about for a while, when I'm just saying, hey, look how this run's going. But, please forgive me. I've been running video game for a while. Oh, come on, just hit him with the thing. There we go. And I will actually take this. It's going to buff up my necromancy. That's going to buff up myself. I forgot. That's fine. Look, this could be far worse. And there we go. Be easy. No, Celeste gets easier. Oh, wait, what are you talking about? I ache for I ache for the touch of your lips, dear, but much for the touch of your lips, dear. You can leave welts like nobody else as we dance the masochism tango. All right, then. So, what else are people talking about right now? What is your schedule for your runs? Is it daily, weekly, random? I mean, it's pretty much. I'm getting kind of trying to do like every. What a terrible go at it. But I don't remember now what I was going to say. Yeah, it's just been kind of erratic. I don't really have a set time here that I've been doing runs in any way. Usually it's like 5 o'clock Central, basically when I get home from work, or slightly after that. How does the Sadist Stiletto? Get rid of that right now. How does the Sadist Stiletto, Blood Shield, Brutality, Tactic skills unlocked? I don't know. Like, that seems like that might be a little bit questionable because the shield doesn't really scale up with your stuff. You might as well just take the mutation that gives you extra, or that gives you bleeding on a melee hit. I think it's probably going to be a little bit better than just hoping for nothing here is good. Than just hoping for bleed off of a shield. Really, I think that if you're going to be taking Status Stiletto, take something like the Alchemic Carbine. It's going to be a lot more consistent. You're going to choose when enemies are going to be hittable, all that sort of stuff. I'm a file clerk at a law firm. It's true. Not with the ooh-woo part. That ooh-woo part is editorialization by Alex, not me. Guess you're unfamiliar with Dr. Demento? No, I'm well familiar with Dr. Demento. That was the guy who made the great Greasy Gopher Guts music video. Novelty songs. But anyway, first game console, Game Gear. Or, I guess, non-portable N64. I got the special one from Target that gave you a gold controller with it, which was pretty sweet. So yeah, I was basically the coolest kid on the block with my gold N64 controller. Doc only works with people who ooh-woo in real life. I'm pretty sure the people I work with don't even know what that is and would be highly disturbed if they found out. Or, well, maybe slightly. No, they'd probably be okay with it. But I'm not telling them regardless. Cool controller, nice. Yeah, you're telling me. It was the one that was gold. It was gold, man. How can you say that you dislike a cool gold controller? But anyway, yeah, and by everybody was jealous, I really meant that everybody had a PlayStation. And that's how I first played through the original Rayman. I really don't like the looks of this. Okay. And yet somehow it worked here. Okay, come on. Careful with that damage. Don't get cornered. I'm trying so hard, and yet it's not really working out. At least not as well as I would like it to. Get him to keep jumping in the corner here. That's a good opportunity for critical hits. Oh, God. And by opportunity for critical hits, I mean also a good opportunity for me to not die. Okay. Come on, get over here and... Well, I still at flawless fight. However, it's not really... It's still a huge question of if I'm going to actually make it or not. There we go. Oh, that was a close one. Take his lunch money. Paper Mario was on the N64. Yeah, it was actually like one of the last games to come out for it. I remember that I was actually over at a friend's house when it came out, and we played through pretty much the entire thing in one night. It was great. Good stuff. 30 minutes getting to the first area. Oh boy. I'll take it. Please. And forget about the fire grenade. I've gotten a lot of usage out of that. I can give it up now. Need a skill that makes a big hay bale, makes the impaler stronger in boss fights, or like something like an ice wall. If you remember, Mega Man X, I had that sort of thing going on there. It's pretty good. But yeah, something that would be like, I don't know. Yeah, it's give you some more usage out of this, or some more usage out of anything that gets benefit from a wall would be nice. Paper Mario is such a great game. Yeah, I know. Then Thousand Year Door I liked even more. And then Super Paper Mario was okay. And Sticker Star. Color Splash was pretty good, though. I thought Color Splash was a very fun game. Get over here. But aside from that, also Paper Jam is a thing that definitely existed at some point in time. Boy, did it. Boy. Boy, did it. Oh, right. Anybody? I was worried there for a second. I'm not doing that Persona Twitch stream anytime soon. I'll just do that real soon. I mean, I do have Thursday, Friday off. And I'm actually getting off early tomorrow because, you know, holiday. But that'll be a good time to do it. Oh, I thought that the cells and the money coming towards me was an enemy. Super Mario RPG is also one of the best Mario games. It's really good. I don't know if I would consider it the best. I feel like I don't like it as much as a lot of people do. For example, I'm not the sort of person that's going to be petitioning Gino to get into Smash. But at the same time, I mean, I do like the game. I do think it's a good game. I just feel like it's... Whoa. Very nice. I do feel like it's a little bit too Final Fantasy-y for what I like. I mean, something like Mallow is almost exactly a... This is... I don't like this at all. Okay, that's fine. That's much better. I like Mallow, I think, is just straight up a shonen, like, character. He's like this hot-blooded young kid who doesn't quit and always stays positive. And you know, this is all my hot opinions. I know, but it's just like it never connected with me in the same way. However, I do like a good turn-based RPG, and that did introduce stuff like timed hits to the world. So how can I be mad at that? Mallow, hot-blooded? Yeah, I mean, he's always, like, going on about, like, I'm gonna be the hero. Don't you remember that? I don't know who my parents are. You know, him. Mallow. And Gino, of course, was, like, the cool guy type of character. And Mario was Mario. I think that was the game that cemented Bowser as being a goofy character, wasn't it? Which that one was a good contribution to the series. Prior to that, he was mostly just like a serious king type of character. Yeah, give me that. Do I remember the game wrong? I might remember the game wrong. I don't know. Well, okay, let's be honest here. It's been like well over a decade since I played that game, so maybe I'm remembering it wrong. And you know, maybe that would be a fun series to do. Does somebody have a ROM they can send me? No, I didn't say that. That would be illegal, and I'm not saying anything. That was a joke. Funny haha. Don't read too much into it. I think Doc is kind of a cool character. How? How in any way? In what reality are you currently living right now? I can smuggle you a link. What? That was a joke. I would never would I ever. Well, maybe. Okay. Yeah, this is going to worse over time. But this is about the point in time that I'm going to want to start using potion charges. That's going to be a pretty useful and important part of the run. Oh, is this better? Black gold over unlimited distance. I'll take the extra jump. That could be more useful over time. Doc, do you mean Goomba Bernie Sanders? Nah, I got nothing. To be honest, I haven't worked on my Bernie Sanders impression for quite a while, or ever. So, I just mostly heard other people do it. He sounds like JFK for some reason. Okay. And alright. That was never to maybe instantly. No, I was thinking of the, it's a song from that one musical. Never Would I Ever. Never? Well, something like that. It's been a long time. And also, apparently my brain is scrambled with references, so you can't really trust anything I say. What musical was that? Now I'm being driven crazy by not knowing. Doc, are you leftist? As a personality that exists on the internet, I have no opinion on politics. Here we go. Still, I mean, the whole extinctionist run thing is still going on. I'm still killing every single enemy as fast as possible and as often as possible. I'm Stalinist. No, I'm just Stalin. Because I don't want to answer. Hey, am I right? High five. I need to make many music references, so I made a Spotify list. Oh no, don't do that. I make so many. Oh, it's I mean, like, what's even the last reference that you would have thrown on there? I guess I made a reference to Juicy in the Secret Puzzles episode of Witness. It's like the only one that I can think of. No, that's the only one I can think of recently. Share that link. Like, I don't even. Oh, no, last reference I made was to Soul Mining, which was specifically to the song Soul Mining, but then I also pretended like I was a reference to This Is the Day. So, there's that, if you want. No, the first Secret Puzzles episode, not the second one. I still gotta do, I still gotta do the maintenance tunnels, which we do have recorded, although I am going to redo a little bit of stuff related to the end of that. And then we got to record what's probably going to be a combination of audio logs and secret puzzles, and that's going to be the entire series. Your Dead Cells episodes fade outs should be random songs you reference in the episode. No, that would, I mean, I might as well just take my channel off the internet right now if I was going to do that. Just like, please DCMA me right now. As much as I would love to. What is your opinion on the American system of measures or compared to the European one? The European metric system is so much better than the standard system. It's terrible. The imperial system or whatever it's called. Like, I don't think that that's even a controversial opinion. I think everybody knows that you want to measure things in centimeters rather than inches and liters rather than pints. I mean, unless you're that one character from 1984 who couldn't have enough beer with a half liter and had too much beer with a full liter. Oh, the pint was just perfect for him. What was that sort of complaint? I hate that guy. My least favorite character in the entire novel, and that includes Stalin. Well, okay, yeah, it was... No, that was Stalin. He was Big Brother. How's that for references? Like when the gooey head is going down the tube. I mean, it doesn't necessarily go down the tube. Sometimes it goes, just off screen. Imperial units are basically okay only for temperature. Okay, what temperature in Imperial units does water boil? We all know where it freezes, but where does it boil? 212. Now, I don't actually know if that's correct, and I live in America. This is really rough. Okay. Nope. Oh! 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 Wow! The save! I really thought I was dead there. Oh. What temperature does freeze? 32. Okay, but man. Jesus Christ, that was the save. Like, I must have been like on the last pixel of my iframes there. I have no idea how I survived that. That should have been a death. Enemy tried so hard, got so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. Yeah, go watch the Witness series if you want more references to... If you want more Linkin Park references to add to the list. Ooh, Nelly. I'm still riding high after getting that incredible dodge. This is not terrible, but I don't really need it right now. I should also be okay for taking Tainted Flask very soon. And I will. Oh, this is going to be a little bit rougher comparatively. A little bit rougher comparatively for full clearing, because these enemies are not very nice. They're going to munch. They're going to crunch. Frankly, I don't like it. Okay. Should have seen that Linkin Park reference coming. Tried so hard. But explain this rhyme in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch fly by as pendulum swings. Watch countdown to the end of the day. Clock ticks life a day away. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch time go right out the window. Wasted it all just to watch you go. How about that? Basically, I'm saying it's fine for a day-to-day sense. 100F is hot, 32 is cold, I guess. I don't know, man. 100 is more than hot. And it also depends on how humid it is. For example, around here right now, very, very humid. Feels much hotter. I think I should be okay, ready to go. Let's go. What is that flask you speak of? Oh, the Tainted Flask. It is a mutation that is going to save me a lot of flask charges. Every time you get, at 30 brutality, I think. Well, here, let's see what it is right now. Time you get 4 enemies killed, it gives you a flask charge. Flask charge is half of my melee's gone, 60% heal. A lot of really good stuff. A lot of very good stuff. I'm going to keep what I got right now. I don't necessarily need to switch into it just yet. Let's go. What does feet in height mean? Like a person said, is he 6 feet tall? Is his height 6 legs tall? No, no, no. It's like the sole to the toes of the king's foot. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. You don't have to tell me. I know. Okay, so 2 more curse chests to go, and past that point, I'm not gonna have to worry about getting cursed anymore. That's when things are not gonna be on easy street, but they're gonna be on easier street. It's pretty much the point in which, like I said, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's going to be a lot more manageable. I would really like to kind of get into a position where I could... Oh, ho! Well, we've been working with the electric whip until now. That changes now. Please. Very nice. Huh. All right. Make sure that I'm still staying careful, though. Don't want to get too haughty. This is a good weapon, and it's going to be, like, only better over time. But that's good. Kelvin is for measuring gases, I think. Right? That's for, like, if you're trying to measure where, I don't know, like, helium freezes more than anything. At least that's kind of how I always thought of it. Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. Kelvin for energy stuff, because Kelvin goes to absolute... Yeah, 0 Kelvin is absolute 0, isn't it? Something like that. Which king, as far as I know, there's no... Whatever the last king that implemented that system before it became standardized with rulers, I guess. I mean, you know, that's... I mean... We can also talk about, like, a stone, which is 14 pounds. We can also talk about, like, oh, God. I used to know all of how the Like a mile. How much is a mile? It's something that is just completely nonsense. Or like a distance between a town or something. A furlong? You want to talk about that? Ooh, how many hands something is? Hands are a thing. I hate this stupid system. Oh, why don't you just move to Canada then? I don't hate it that much. Ugh. Give me a little bit more light. Weirdest thing about the Imperial versus metric in Europe is I often see people measuring penises in inches. Hey, why did I say that? Well, I'm already going to be editing this stream. Okay. Oh, 60, nice. Aren't you Canadian? No, I'm in the Midwest. There's a big difference. And that difference is like maybe a couple miles away from my grandparents' house. Live up next to Lake Superior. There we go. Lost my kill count, but it doesn't matter now. A Phaeton is 6 feet deep. I'm not even familiar with that one. And a fortnight is 2 weeks. That's right, kids. It had a meaning before you took it over with your video game. And okay. And Fortnite Save the World was the original series before it got turned into a Battle Royale. Apparently, I heard it wasn't very good. Anyway, I do want to keep a couple enemies alive, or not, I guess. Whatever, it's all cool. For, you know, the purposes of getting rid of curses, but I guess that's not happening. Let's just... Oh, of course. I hate this guy. Oh, no! Okay. Ooh. Oof. That was close. And I'll actually take the balance blade, sure. I'm still going to be using magic missiles for the most part, but I think the balance blade could have some uses here. How many apples high are you? I mean, I've had like 3 apples today. I do like them apples. Also, they just put out fruit at work. So, I tend to eat a lot of fruit. Basically is what I'm saying. There were a couple enemies over here I remember that I'm going to be missing. There we go. I enjoy your content. Not this one, though. Guarantee. But thanks. Sorry about not doing it more consistently, really. Ah, there we go. Close, close, but no cigar. Okay, okay. Wow, I was kind of worried about getting to a light source there for a second. What do you do for a living? I am a file clerk at a law firm. It is literally exactly as milquetoast and inconsequential as it sounds. I mean, you might be like, no, that's just a euphemism for something. Nope. Like, if an attorney needs files, I order them or make them or whatever. Really nothing I'm getting good here, am I? Before watching your videos, I thought I was done with Dead Cells at 2 boss cells and now trying builds. There's a lot of very good ones. I mean, even ones like this, which is just crafted out of just the sheer luck of getting some legendary weapons, is still successfully going. Surprising even myself. I mean, this is usually I have a much tighter build than this. This is such a scattershot one that doesn't really have any, like, central stuff. There's no like central theme to this. It's just I got some good weapons, basically. And that's the sort of game that Dead Cells can be. It's never super overpowered. But you can always like craft a better run or a different run. The great thing about the game. What else are we looking at here? Sensual. I mean, only in the style of like sensualists, which I would consider myself one. Never super overpowered. There's one time that I had a super overpowered... No, I've never had a super overpowered... I've had overpowered runs. I've never had, like, beat the game effortlessly runs. You always still have to play the game at least halfway decently. Have I? Oh, absolutely. Several times. In fact, in the last video that I put out, I had a pretty good go at that dude. Ice shards? Nah. I feel like you're getting bored of the game. Will you change it anytime soon? Oh, of course not. I mean, the thing is, the game is still fun to play. It's just I also like doing other stuff sometimes. Which is why, I mean, basically, there's points and times where I just hedonistically indulge in a game for hours at a time. You know, something like Bloodstained happened recently, The Witness, same thing. And then I just kind of neglect this for a little bit. But I know that this is what people really like seeing, and I'm more than happy to continue playing this game. I'm not like one of those guys that, you know, started up a YouTube channel based around like a horror game or something, and now I'm stuck making inane and nonsensical theories forever about it. Like I have seen people do before. It's like, no, this is still a good game. Still a good game. It's still a fun game to play. The only real issue with it is that it takes so long to record sometimes, and sometimes I just don't feel like I'm saying much of anything interested with it. Much of anything interesting with it. I'm just, you know, going through the motions sometimes, which is why I'm always like, well, I don't want to put out an episode where I'm just like, hey, I got the item, and then I got the next item, and then I got the next item, and I win. That's why I'm always doing a lot of, like, gimmicky stuff, too. Keep it fresh and interesting. I don't know. It's an interesting question when you play the game for 1,000 hours. It's just like, are you still enjoying it? Like, yeah, I do. I don't know. Like the last Pantheon on that regard. Real nice, but way too long for its own good. I mean, I was so I was happy like back in the time when runs were only a half hour long. And it's just like, it's not a problem, I would say, unless you're doing them, unless you're trying to do like runs every other day or something. And you're like, well, I gotta block out 2 hours to do a single run. At least there's still like plenty of items that I can do showcases on. There's still plenty of, you know, ridiculous, still plenty of ridiculous builds and stuff I can do. Maybe actually try to attempt to do cursed sword runs and everything like that. There's tons and tons of things out there left to do, which is why you can keep it still interesting and not have to make inane game theories about something ad nauseum. Here I am with only 2 boss cells. Oh, and it only gets tougher from there. One of the nice and terrible things about the game. Because the replayability of the game is insane. Each time you play it, it's different. I mean, yeah, that is right. That is roguelikes entirely. And that's the thing that makes it. I mean, when I was originally, you know, starting up the channel, I'm like, Dead Cells is a good game to do this with. I mean, there are people that have made games based entirely. There are people that have made channels based entirely around playing Dark Souls and Souls-like games. And this is a randomly generated one that has tried its hardest to be exactly like those. So, if nothing else, you should be able to run this thing forever, provided that Motion Twin can keep up with their promise. And to my surprise, they did. So, there you go. They have continued to put out content for this. And so, it's a weird success story, how everything just kind of came together like that. I think even to this day, people will look at Dead Cells as a huge success of... Oh, I do need to go to the various doors. I do need to remember that. A huge success of early access. Dark Souls are reminded of Debug Souls. Now, that's something that if this was a channel based entirely around Dark Souls, you'd probably be seeing a lot more of. Because that was a fun and definitely different way to look at the thing. But, you know, even Dark Souls is going to run out of stuff you can talk about eventually. With roguelikes, you just got to make a crazier run to do stuff with. Warning, bad. Oh, it wasn't that bad comparatively. At least it had something novel going on with it. Not like the Dark Souls 2 series, which had nothing. And it was just me wanting to play that. And... is there a specific reason why you want to put out content on YouTube? I wanted to do like content stuff with YouTube. Basically, I have been somebody that has watched LPs since like they were only made on the Something Awful forums. Since you could only find LPs being something that you had to read Something Awful threads of. I'm talking like 2006, 2007, when Slow Beef was creating the Super Metroid one that had led to this entire thing in the first place. So it's like I have been part of this whole thing, even if it's just as a watcher forever. I wanted to do something for a while. But basically, the original idea, you know my Persona series? That was the original idea. But that was before Persona came out in America. So I would have been floundering around a lot and probably not have done nearly as good of a job like doing translations and everything. So basically, I kind of had that idea. I experimented around with doing a Twitch channel with Morty, if you like ever. I'm pretty sure that there's no way you could possibly find that on the internet anymore. But there was some stuff. And eventually what happened was I saw Vinny of Vinesauce playing this game. And I saw him completely and utterly fail to get to the first door to get to the first time door in the promenade. And I'm like, this game looks awesome. Played it a lot. Played it to completion. And then I said, there are channels that do stuff entirely based around Dark Souls. This is a roguelike. You can do an infinite amount of stuff with this. I'm going to try it. Don't forget the melon. Oh, no, I couldn't have taken that melon. The melon would have spelled death for me. Because that's a... I still had... Uh-oh. Because I still had my... Good. My acceptance on at the time. So it would have been cursed doing that. And that would have been a bad idea. I don't need to tell you that, though. Would Minecraft Hardcore count as a roguelike? Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd like to say that's more of like a city building type, not city building, but like a building or a simulator type of thing, closer to something like a Dwarf Fortress. But I mean, I consider that close enough. I mean, I think that like an RPG aspect is kind of important to the whole like roguelite aesthetic. But I wouldn't really say that you are... It's entirely different. Take them down. There we go. Permadeath, randomly generated, random loot. RPG elements, turn-based would be if you wanted to be a proper roguelike and not a roguelite. But everything else checks out there, sure. Sloppy fight. Miss Morty? You can just go watch the newest episode of Witness right now if you want. Need a sip? Yeah, I should probably do that. I got Tainted Flask. Tainted Flask is already up and ready to start going. So, whenever its services are required, they will be called upon. Now you're just being pedantic. Hey, I'm somebody who likes roguelikes a lot. Rewind back to the start of this episode if you want proof of that. I like Dead-Cells, just not RPG games. Is that ironic? Nah, this is way more of a Castlevania platformery type of thing than like a proper RPG. It's got RPG elements, certainly, but I wouldn't consider it exactly that. Honestly, one of my favorite things about Dead-Cells is how differently Motion Twin operates compared to other companies. Yeah, I mean, even the original Dead-Cells was like almost a complete game. Like, you could have played it, you could have released that as a complete game. Like, give it just a whatever sort of ending, and it would have been, like, I think people would have probably been happy with that. Not as happy as I am now with the game, but... And then they continued to have updates monthly for a little while, and then eventually... Yeah, they had that monthly for a while, and then they just had really big updates that would almost completely change how the game worked every couple months. It's a lot of good stuff. Oh! Down the potion! Ooh, Nelly! Any tips on how to beat the giant in 4 boss cell? damage over time build, Boy's Axe. Those are the two ways that I've done it, and they're most effective so far. Quasi-rip. Hey, this is not a quasi-rip. I don't know what you're talking about. I am alive and kicking as much as a man without a head can be. I think it's still working just fine. Oh, this is gonna be just hell in a cell to do this Extinctionist, isn't it? Oh well, just gotta be a little bit careful. Yeah, of course. Yes, play Minecraft. I mean, that is kind of making a comeback as far as the popular series go, but that's why I shouldn't. It's oversaturated. You don't want to play that now. You want to play it before everybody got into it. But nah, I don't know if I'm all that interested in Minecraft. If I was going to do anything, it would be Terraria, which I was planning to do a series on, never ended up doing anything with that, though. These headless were pretty alive until you murdered them. I mean, would you consider, like, walking around being living? I wouldn't. I would say that there's much more to the measure of a man than merely shambling about day to day. And to be truly alive, something, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Mod packs are great for... Oh, yeah, Minecraft, of course, has a huge amount of mods. I mean, it's pretty much exactly what you would expect. The game was super popular and not particularly difficult to mod, so people did a lot of great stuff with it. Something funny third thing. Yeah. Probably could be a really good Terraria speedrunner. I feel like unless you're using glitches, that's a little bit too long of a speedrun for me. You know, just too much looking around, grinding around for the right equipment to get to the next areas or get good enough. I have watched a decent amount of not Minecraft speedrunners, but Terraria speedrunners to kind of get an idea of like what would be required with that, though. There's some good stuff. Have you played Ori and the Blind Forest? I have not. Oh, I guess I don't have Necromancy anymore, do I? Oh well, I don't think that really matters too much. If you had a Switch, what would you stream from it? Nintendo games? Probably Mario Maker 2 right now, if I'm being honest. I mean, that's like exactly my wheelhouse. I love me some user, like a amateur game design and everything like that, and just came out. People are really experiencing the new stuff. It would be a lot of fun. I mean, something else that I would probably like to stream, but wouldn't because it would be such a huge time commitment, would be Zelda. I want to play Breath of the Wild a lot. I think that has so much good stuff going for it. Now, is a sequel coming out soon? It's like, I think I would definitely enjoy playing it. I just don't know how good of a content that would make. Oh, and by the way, if you're ever wondering, it's like, why am I still staying on YouTube, much less why did I start using it? It's because I really like editing videos. I like being able to break down stuff to the point where it is... I want to get rid of the chaff. I like getting rid of, like, pointless small things. Because as much as, you like having live stuff, I do kind of prefer sometimes, when you get into the point. It all comes with that thing of, like, watching LPs for years and years and years, and, like, what would I do differently if I could? Have you played SMT Nocturne or Digital Devil? Yes, I played Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. I actually had... I have beaten both of the optional bosses, Satan and Itashura. Yeah, in both of them. I even created, like, a big... spreadsheet for when I did that. It's good times, good times. I just had a calculator for when I fought Satan in the second game. The stream going to be going on for a lot more. It's going to be going on basically until I either win or lose. And definitely not draw. I don't even think that's possible in this game. What you got? Ha! Sure. Get out of here, you. The boys are back in town. Anybody else? Anybody else? No? Great. Man, you know, as for as good as Magic Missile should be doing against the bombers, it just hasn't really been happening now, has it? Gonna watch until the end, even though it's 5 a.m. It shouldn't be too much longer. I'd like to say that we're gonna be approaching end soon. It's just the castle has a lot of enemies you gotta kill. If I'm going for full-on Extinctionist, it's like this is gonna take a little bit of time. As you kind of would expect. Instead of making super slow videos where I try to explore everything for the first time, well, I mean, there is... It seemed like The Witness, I still kind of do that. There are also a lot of points where I just, like, look at stuff. So, I'm not super expedient sometimes, but I just try to really... Oh, God. This is going to be an issue. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Ooh, nice. Okay. Wow. That was worrying. Let's just use that right now. Plan on going to the observatory? Of course. If I got the chance to, why not? Ah! I'm okay. Kind of. I'm mostly okay. That was a harrowing experience, but I made it out with only the slightest scratch. Fearing the Rampage are good. Fearing the Rampage is the only way to play the game. I mean, you saw how quickly that other Rampager was going to kill me. You can only assume that it was going to go much faster there. All right. Those guys do a lot of damage. Hey, nice. And I don't really need that much, but I'll take what I can get. Okay, okay. Oh, you're made out of Harrowed. Now you only play a support Harrow. I don't even know what that's a reference to. But yes, I am 100% Harrowed at all points in time. I live my life as a Harrowed gentleman. And I'll live my death as a Harrowed one. Ah, Warframe, of course. You need one more kill for the flask charge. Leave it for the next biome. I mean, it doesn't matter if I leave it for the next biome or not. It would, I'm going to get it in the... I think it keeps track of how many you've killed in between stuff. But I'm also going to get it in the boss fight, so... It doesn't really matter either way. It's going to be... I'm going to get a flask charge sooner than later. Regardless of what I do. Be very careful. Here we are, and there we go. Okay, so I just need the slasher right now, but I do still have to make sure that I am going around everywhere, you know, due to the whole constraints of the run. Harrow is a support frame. I mean, Harrow makes those red crits happen. I'm gonna be honest, I do not know enough about Warframe to actually tell. Kinky. Aren't they all kind of kinky in their own way? I mean, I've seen pictures of the frames. It seems to me the Digital Extremes knows what they're doing. They know their audience so well. All right, just take you out here. Should start using... I mean, I have a decent weapon right now. I should start using it. Nah. Crits, red crits are just hits that crit it twice. There's so much about that game that I do not know. Muscle Mom. See, I told you. Okay. Be very careful. I told you. They know what they're doing. Ah. Would you be interested in playing Warframe off-stream? It really is a great game, and judging by what games you play, it'd probably suit your needs. I mean, it would. I have said before that it's like I do like a good grindy type game. I like a game that has really inscrutable, hard to understand mechanics and everything like that. I just don't really like multiplayer stuff. And MMOs, I think, are a little bit, you know, like doing dailies and everything. Not now. the thing is, I have gotten into those before, and I probably shouldn't again. I don't want to ever do anything in my life. You can play it solo? I mean, yeah, I guess, but isn't it kind of, you know, built for multiplayer? Yeah, exactly, if you want a real hard challenge. I don't know if that's quite the same thing. And most you'll be playing with 4 people. 3 more than I want. And by playing with 4 people, I mean, I assume that I'm counted in that, right? Otherwise, then that's 4 more than I want. All right, what do we got? I think that's it. Oh, no, I gotta go do the slasher. Gotta go fight the slasher, and then we should be good. You're just a voice, not a person. Exactly. So 4 more than I want. We have established earlier in the stream. I don't even know why I tried to use that. That wasn't going to work regardless of what I was thinking. And I got hit anyway. Of course. All right. Okay, now this is just ridiculous. Your Moonflower keys... Don't read chat just yet. Wait 1 second. Moonflower keys don't seem to exist. You clearly haven't explored the entire map. Come on, I didn't say... This is not explore the entire map. This is... This is not explore the entire map. This is... kill all enemies. And there are no enemies in there, I can guarantee you. There we are. No more elites, though, eh? Hey, Luigi. And unfortunately, I do think that one's going to be... Oh, no. Oh, I mean, that's okay. Take it. And no, there is one more elite. Cool. So as it turns out, I made the right choice at. Couldn't be happier with my decisions that I made up until this point. All right. There we go. And also on top of all of that, it was a... no. I'm not going to take this. On top of all of that, it was a maxed out damage. 99,999. I saw that. Oh, great. And take him down. Ooh, all right. That should be a fully cleared out castle now. Oh boy, what a time. Once the game bugs out and spawns something in there. Now, that's not really something that I can expect, or nor should I expect it. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, sure. I'll take it. Don't you want a shield? Why do I need a shield for? I am but unto a god at this point. I need nothing more. My mere countenance to defeat this man. To be fair, Warframe eats your time like a possessive girlfriend. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the entire thing, too. Where it's like games that are a little bit too large could, you know, jeopardize the channel or my life. Find Warframe is about as time intensive as you make it. I mean, I guess it's well, any game is as time intensive as you make it. You just quit whenever you feel like it. But you know what I'm saying. You can read chats during a run. Should you not be able to do a run at work? At work? I'm not working with my computer. I'm working with the computer at my workplace. Oh, well, I'll give you an example of how Faith can move mountain. Mountain of Faith. Toho 12? That was when there was trying to remember that game in any way. Okay then. Okay. All right. Getting a little bit close, but I'm doing okay here. Okay. Oh, come on now. Fine, then. Okay. And now huge damage increase. And one more, and... Oh, you can't turn around like that. I forbid it. Uh-oh. This is bad. Oh, and it still hit me anyway. Now that's just unfair. There. Ugh. Frustrating. I have 650 hours in Warframe and another 300, 400 hours on my account that I forgot my password to. Harsh. That's gotta be... That's... I mean, surely you can, like, get the password back for that in one way or not. And it's just out playing Broadsword's combo over and over again. Well, he shouldn't be... I thought that as he did his second in his 3-hit combo, he couldn't turn around again. But I guess I was incorrect. Am I straight? Yes. Why do you ask? Have you fought the Hand-Wearing King? No, I have not. I mean, that's one of those things that I probably should do at some point in time. I know that there's a specific scene for that, but I just have not done it. All right. And take him down. There we go. Ooh, woo. Second hit lands behind him, and then he can turn around for the third hit. I mean, yeah, I guess I realize that now. Okay, come on. Let's just get to an elite here, and I should be doing just fine. Unfortunately, I do need to fight every single enemy here as per rules of the run and the road. So, that's going to be frustrating. But, dims the brakes. Don't always do what you want. Sometimes you're duty-bound to do something. Now, for instance. Don't want to spoil the ending. Keep the... Oh, yeah. If you don't want to spoil anything, it gets spoil heavy right now. Let me tell you. Spoilers are gonna start flying, baby. Okay. Okay, that actually works pretty well for me, and there we go. Whew, harsh. Thankfully, Rampagers are gone for the rest of this run now. Oh, wait, there's a second one. There we go. Well, that's a lot of damage. Better learn how to use them early instead of spending a bunch of time pushing it off and pairing. Oh, talking about learning the ropes when it comes to parrying. Ooh, it's rough. It's so worth it in a lot of ways, though. You get a lot of advantages using a shield. Just is rough. What is this one? Have I seen this one before? And nah, not too much. I think that's one I've seen before. I don't actually know, because a lot of these I've seen during streams, so it's always kind of questionable. Doc, remove all the food stores from custom game, if that's even possible, or is just unlucky not to get any. Oh no, I've been getting the food stores. They only appear in so many biomes. This is one of them, potentially. I'm not holding my breath, though, if I'm being honest. You tend not to see them very commonly. Aha! This should actually not be too terrible of an elite to fight, because he does that all the time. And... like, come on, is that not enough, really? Good, good. Oh, am I down to... no, 2 elite enemies. I think it's like 35 when it becomes only a single elite enemy. And that's what I would like to see if I could. Oh, let's take a look. 72,000, 75,000. Sure. Where'd you even come from? No, really, where'd they come from? What was that? Whatever, anyway. And we're good. Wow, what a time to be alive. But yeah, this shouldn't be... I'd like to say at this point in time, I shouldn't have too much trouble doing a 100% kill everything run. Lead propagation working in my favor. Lead propagation is working in my favor, and the magic missile makes it pretty easy to start smack-a-lacking enemies endlessly. And done. 99,999 hit points. Gone. Cool. A lot of brutality, I know, right? It shouldn't be too hard after this. Well, I only have one health flask that I'm going to have for the fight. That is an important thing to remember. However, that should be enough unless I really screw it up. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, Doc, look, loving the witness run. Looking forward to seeing the challenge run. Took me at least 30 tries to get it, but what a game. Oh, yeah, that's... I'm going to try to do it live. I do have it pre-recorded from, like, the time that I sat down, spent 2 hours doing it. But, man. We'll see. Like I said, I'm going to make an attempt. I know how it goes, after all. You know that old song and dance? We'll see. We'll see. Oh. Hey, get out of here, you. And I'm actually just going to do this right now because I can. And get a huge damage increase, and we're looking good. I'm not going to take this. It's not entirely necessary in any way. Boy, I really screwed up. I mean, it's you say that, and that's definitely something that's happened a few times. On stream, no less. So, don't even have that extra stress, that extra push to, yeah. All right, anyway, we'll see, we'll see. Oh, hit me anyway. There we go. One more health flask, alien key, and we're looking good. Anything else I should be going for? There is a shop, which means I do need to do a little bit more looking about. Yeah, alien key. That's what I said. What, are you going to argue with me about it? It's not like I'm going to fall directly into the abyss as soon as I say that a second time. What are the odds? Not good, let me tell you. Now, let me tell you what. Nah. All right, what would I even want here? Shield? Maybe? I don't know. I guess? It's the Tim Allen key. It was the worst Tim Allen impression ever, but whatever. It's cool. Odds 50-50. I do have 83,000 health right now, you know. But yeah, that's actually not bad. It's going well. Going well, but you know, that's Dead-Cells for you. Can always turn it on a dime. And generally does if you give it the chance. You're a cool guy, Doc. Not after that Tim Allen impression. Unfortunately, I lost all of my coolness there to try to make a roll to do that correctly. And I lost, and then made a Dungeons & Dragons, or, well, tabletop gaming entirely reference. Anyway, I'll just, yeah, flying enemies are not going to, flying enemies are going to be bad here. Those are, I've talked about sneak melees before, and that still remains truism. So, Yeah, see, the bleed propagation is actually working out in my favor a lot. Even going through stuff like shields to make sure that enemies are not surviving for any amount of time right now. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've killed everything else in this area, right? We should be good as far as the Extinctionist run conduct goes. I'm fairly certain. Have you checked for secret areas in the Astrolab? I mean, there is the one secret area, but that was the one that had the, that was close. Well, that was closer. Just do this to make sure that I'm okay. There is the one that has the sonic crossbow in it, but enemies don't appear in that area. Or at least they shouldn't. Like I said, I feel like I'm not, failing the conduct of the run if an enemy spawns in there due to a glitch. Like, come on. Also, like, that area is really hard to do stuff with. You really don't want to, if you can, go into that place. There's a lot of these purple light trap things, and they hurt a lot if you get hit by them. All right. To be a little bit careful here. I'm throwing caution to the wind with the idea that I'm going to be able to, like, heal up a lot of this. I shouldn't be doing that. Because I will be able to heal up a lot of this, but then I won't have my potion charge for the actual fight. Oh, okay. Let's go. All right. There's one. There's two. Okay. That's pretty much everything that's going to be happening. Let's go. I only tease you because of how openly you tease yourself, but I am used to being on the internet. I know how the old song and dance goes. You do not even need to come close to apologizing for that. Oh. Now, let's see how this goes. Ooh, how hard can it be to just flawless the run? I'd like to say that compared to most bosses, this guy's probably not too bad to flawless. It's just, we'll see. I mean, I'm not trying to flawless him, but you know. I'm just saying I probably have a harder time against Conjunctivius or Hand of the King. Let's go. Okay, then. Big damage. Oh, come on. That wasn't enough. Keep taking him down. More than half health down here. That's cool. Okay. All right. Fair enough. One more. Come on, just keep going here. Oh, so close. Come on. It's going pretty well so far, but of course I am also very much still worried. Oh, Arbiter is fun. I love these guys. Okay, come on. Like, what, one more area left, I think? Stop getting hit by that. Just embarrassing yourself. Hey. Right. Of course. Okay, come on. This is an interesting Bloodstain mod. Now, come on. You're just being ridiculous. Uh-oh, uh-oh! Like, I didn't even think that he went around this much. Here we go. And I'm dead. Oh, boy. All right. Good night, everybody. That's how that goes sometimes. You know what I'm talking about?